Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. I'm David Freak-Turley, joined here with Rivington III.
Indeed. It's going to be a fantastic matchup. We have TSM and EHOME.
Yep. Yeah, two great teams. The North American team SoloMid, unfortunately, only 1-2 so far, but they've lost to two of the best teams in the tournament so far, which have been Curse Gaming and Moscow 5. So, again, like the storyline of Against All Authority or Counter Logic Gaming, where they came out with a couple of losses, they can always turn that one around and get through into the groups. And don't count these teams out by any means. The same, of course, is true for EHOME. They've lost to two of the best teams so far. They can always turn those ones around. These matches do very much matter.
You know, there are upsets. It happens. Alternate Fnatic yesterday, that was a huge game that nobody thought would go down. And, you know, TSM versus EHOME here. EHOME didn't really falter anywhere today. They were counter-jungled very hard in both of the games that they played so far. And they played stellar to try and counteract that. They really didn't throw any kills away. Nobody was feeding. It's just they couldn't gain ground in the game. Same thing with TSM. Just like Xenon said, you know, he couldn't find a place that they faltered in that last game, but it was just the fact that M5 was playing that much better still. They're really on their game today.
Yeah, but you can see them on the camera right now. Actually, unfortunately, I don't know the faces of the players right now, so I can't tell you who's who exactly, but a couple of stories, if you've been kind of tuning into the stream, you know this already, but their solo top/mage player, PDD, actually has a fractured right arm and has been playing with a cast on. But, you know, his individual skills been fine. He had some sweet Akali play earlier on in the game against SK. They went back and forth for a while. SK did eventually win that match, but I mean, he's been a pretty strong player for their team so far. Definitely is a team that can come through and come through strong. They do have the chance to come and really crush some faces here. And they're going to prove themselves against Team SoloMid. And I'm trying to remember if SoloMid was at IEM Guangzhou, but it might be one of the first times they play against an American team in an international tournament.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, first time on European soil, there's enough times for the first here.
But anyway, it looks like the players are ready to go up onto the stage. So going to take you away from us. You can see the players come in, and we'll be right back.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Are y'all ready for our next match? Oh, I can't hear you guys. Are y'all ready for our next match? All right, that's what I like to hear. Now for our next match, we have up TSM versus EHOME. So let's give it up while they come up on stage. TSM and EHOME, everybody.
And we are here on the main stage once more with Chaos from Team SoloMid and Imba from Team EHOME. Let's start with you, Imba. It's not going so well for you. You are, I think, 0-3 behind right now. You just lost the game to Cypher as well. Can you just tell us really quickly what happened in that game?
Sorry?
Can you tell us what happened in the game against Cypher?
I think we did really bad in the last 3 games. We can't find a way to solve that. There are lots of problems in our team, like communication or other things. We are doing bad, I know.
Well, an offline event is very, very difficult for a team that may not be used to it. So it's, I mean, maybe you can still figure out what to do. You still have a chance to go out through this group. Chaos, you guys just, well, I just put it as bluntly as possible, you lost to M5 again, and it looked once again like they were making you play their game. And they were aggressive, and they forced that aggressiveness on you, and even though your Kog'Maw had the damage output to chunk down the dual AP setup, it never really seemed to happen. I guess you talked about it already. So let's not go too much into that game, but let's go into your mindsets right now. Coming out of this, how does the team feel, and how do you feel going into the game against EHOME?
Yeah, I was voted to do this interview by my team, so that goes to show, like, everyone's moral is, like, I don't know, down to shit. Everyone feels terrible right now, pretty devastated. So, I mean, that's it.
Well, there is a saying that TSM are known for. I can't say the first 2 words of it, but the third word is pay life. So isn't that something that you guys have in your mind? You're like, whatever, we'll manage to pull it out. Is this something that your team can actually do, just motivation, self-motivation wise?
Yeah, hell yeah, pay life.
There you go, perfect. All right then. So I'll just ask you a quick last question because you had so many interviews already. Do you feel that you are learning important things here? Like you said, the communication is a big problem, and it's probably because of the stage and the setup and everything. But you know, it's part of esports to be up on a big stage like this as well. So do you feel at least, okay, we're coming away from this as a better team? We know we learned something. And do you think you're learning lessons for the next offline event already?
Yeah, we have learned a lot of things from the 3 teams we have met before, and I think it's really good for us.
All right, so best of luck to you guys. Like I said, you can still, mathematically, I think, make it out of the group, but it's going to be very, very hard. And right now, TSM, probably the most famous team in this group, so a lot of people are going to be watching this game. I wish you best of luck in that. I think you can still show us at least a really strong game. And maybe just a last question to you. You guys have already spoken about your fans a lot, and that's I guess it's the unique thing about your team. You have these personalities and everything. And you know, of course, they're watching you even when things aren't going so well right now. Should they give up hope, or do you think that there's still that TSM are still going to pull through and give their fans the show that they're hoping for?
Yeah, we're not completely out of it yet. We need to get sort of lucky with the Cypher against SK, but yeah, we're hoping for that, and we'll try our hardest the next 2 games, of course.
All right, then I wish you best of luck, both of your teams. Let's have a handshake here as well, and we are going to give it back. We are going to give it back to the caster booth right now with, I think it's Freak and Rivington for the game of TSM versus EHOME.
Yeah, 2 teams down on their luck today. Really, the game's not going in their favor. However, as we said, not really faltering in their gameplay, just not being able to bring out the aggressiveness that they need. Counter jungling, really the top story of the day to win the games. Yep. Able to snowball that early. So countering the counter jungle is really what needs to happen now.
Yep, and we saw EHOME do it actually, and specifically the game against Moscow 5, and it took them a little while, but the 3rd golem steal, Shyvana was trying to solo it, and like everyone was there. She flashed up, still Blitzcrank was there, and they got the kills, and they took the blue back. And that's the kind of thing you can do is if you know the timing, you know, they're going to your side of the map. If you can pull your team in, you can make these fights happen to your advantage. And you know, both these teams are phenomenally skilled. You know, they've been losing to some of the best teams in the world right now, and they, of course, themselves are some of the best teams in the world. Just, you know, because you're 1 and 2 or because you're 0 and 3 doesn't mean you're a choke team, doesn't mean you don't have what it takes to come back and start crushing faces on your own. Now, unfortunately for SoloMid, they said, you know, their morale is pretty low. Unfortunately for EHOME, they've been saying they've been having trouble communicating with each other. It's been weird, you know, coming to a foreign continent, playing a tournament this way. So there's a lot of lessons these teams do need to learn, but they are they're professional players. They know what they're doing. They do know how to turn this around, and I gotta believe in both of these teams to put on a great show, and this could be quite a phenomenal match.
You know, and if there's any time to pull out all the stops and get yourself a win, really, this is the time to throw the other team off guard. Something M5 is very good at. People need to start, you know, rethinking the strategy. CLG with a fast, quick switch before the end of the game yesterday was able to get that for him. So these little things, the nuances that people really aren't thinking of yet, the consistent early jungle, Janna and Shyvana in your jungle for your entire 3 minutes, just continuing to clear. You know, as I said, Diamond Prox makes his lane your jungle. So these different things that people are doing are really stepping up the game, and it's awesome to see what these different nations can bring to the table.
Yep, and there's actually a lot of other things going on here. For context, guys, is there's actually a lot of games kind of traded around everywhere. SK actually winning right now over Curse, you know, on an off-screen game, which means you've got a lot of teams actually with quite a number of losses here, and so you can have, you know, honestly even a 2-3 record could put you into a tie. So any of these teams can actually get into a three-way tie here at 2 and 3 even, and sort of get a win that way. Moscow 5 looking really good right now. I think they're 3-0 so far. And if Moscow 5 go 5-0, you know, there's still ways to get really crazy trades going on. So you can't count any of these guys out. Now, a couple of other fun things, these guys with their picks and games so far is EHOME have been playing different champions almost every single game. The only champion they've repeatedly picked right now is Corki. Corki's been played twice.
Right.
14 champions played across their setups. And yeah, SK actually did just get that victory over Curse, which means SK are 2-1 now in the tournament. They lost to Moscow 5, but they got wins over Curse just now and against, I think, Cypher as well in the first match of the day. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on. And actually, it looks like we have the game up. I'm going to spectate in, and yeah, it looks like you're in there as well. So we'll see what's going to be going on here, but looks like we do have the players in the game. EHOME going to be blue team. They're going to get first pick and first ban, and we're going to see how they plan that one out. I mean, they've been picking different champions all across the board. SoloMid actually, they're actually breaking Aurelia's win rate. She was 5-0 the first day, but the Rain Man, it was either me and Daniel or someone else were talking about it. Aurelia not been going well for SoloMid so far. They're 0-2 with Aurelia, so that's a little bit harsh. We'll see if they learn that lesson or if it's just been unlucky matchups against really good teams.
Yeah, it's a lane that they're usually able to win. Rain Man comes out with a good amount of CS. Sometimes the first turret, we saw it against Vlad the other time, usually able to push him out of lane. But when it comes around to it, the team fights just weren't really coming together for them with Aurelia in that. So maybe they will switch up that top lane, maybe a GP within it. We'll have to see. Maybe Rain Man will bring out Teemo. Who knows?
And that's absolutely an option. I think Teemo is a very viable choice against certain matchups. It's not really a counter lane to someone like Vladimir or Kennen, one of these sort of ranged solo tops, but champions like Aurelia or Shyvana who need to get into melee range and actually land these basic attacks to get themselves some power. Teemo's a really good pick against those types of champions, and you know, it's going to be hard, of course, for you know, for them to predict what those picks are going to be. Of course, they might have to ban in certain ways to make that happen. But I mean, it's certainly the kind of choice that's gotten them wins in IEM before. So I mean, you've got kind of a wide open variety here. The other problem there for SoloMid is also, again, EHOME's been playing different champions every different game. They've run Shen before, they've run Akali, they've run, I forget what their third solo top was, but I mean, they've done different things every single time. And so, you know, I think both these teams are a bit of an enigma.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they can pull out. As we said before, both teams a little down on the morale, down on luck on the day as they're coming into these games. An 0-3 EHOME looking to take this. TSM 1-2 on the day, so a little help from Cypher, as they said. Still moving on. Actually, either of these teams as well from what happens in the rest of the day. It could be anybody's matchup, but we'll have to see how they're going to pull out of this little morale glitch they're having. And as TSM said, you know, they're kind of down. They forced Chaos into that interview because they really they don't want to do it. They don't want to talk too much. They want to focus on their game, and that's really getting into their heads right now. And the stage, it doesn't help that much because of the atmosphere, because of the presence, and it creates a lot of pressure. And I'm sure EHOME is feeling that as well, as they said.
Yeah, but speaking of pressure, I actually got a score update. By the way, I was wrong about the SK Moscow 5. They've actually not played each other yet. But SK Moscow 5, both 3-0. However, there's a giant three-way tie. Cypher, Curse, SoloMid, all 1-2. And again, they can just fight each other for this third slot right now. It's looking like the third slot in that group. And EHOME the same way. If they can get a win here and get a win in their last match of the day, you know, they can pull out a 2-3 as well and get themselves into a decent spot here. So these teams can trade games. No one is mathematically out of this tournament yet at all. This game matters a whole heck of a lot. Looks like TSM says they are ready. Riv and I think we're ready here as well for the game. And I believe, yeah, EHOME Max said he was ready as well. So I think we'd be good to go into this game in the very, very near future.
Indeed. You know, EHOME always taking their time before the match. They do discuss quite a bit. And we are hearing the go, go, go. We'll see picks and bans in just a few minutes. If you're new to League of Legends, this portion of the cast, I mean, if there are some new ones still. It is the IEM World Championship, so most of you know what's going on, but there are people that don't. Right now, both teams get the chance to ban out 3 champions, and you can know what the other team plays, so that's going to be awesome. You can counter-pick that team or counter-ban the team, and we'll see LeBlanc coming out first. They don't want to deal with Reginald's LeBlanc whatsoever. A lot of burst damage and a lot of movement from that character. Shen being taken out by TSM. They don't want to see any of that. Another one focused at somewhat towards Reginald for what they may play mid is Sion, a great counter to a lot lot of AP mids.
Yep, absolutely. But, you know, Sion is not really like a champion that Reginald plays all that often.
No, actually, yeah, for that pick in general.
But sure, and they're actually going to ban out Aurelia, which is I mean, a little bit funny to be, again, just because the Aurelia pick was 0-2 so far for SoloMid, but still, Aurelia, very phenomenally strong champion. There's Shen and Ryze band. I think we've seen Ryze band out many, many times for SoloMid. I think Reginald is a good Ryze player, to the best of my knowledge, but Shen makes sense as a ban against the team with first pick. He's been, I think the story of this tournament, he's been picked or banned in every single game so far.
Yeah,
his win rate is no longer 100%, but certainly still getting kicked out of the pool a lot.
Yeah, and we'll have to see TSM waiting on their final ban here, and it will be a Kali.
Okay.
They're going to take that away from, I believe, PD.
Yeah.
And we will see what they can do. They do pick up Shyvana, maybe top, maybe jungle. Now it's a double pick for TSM. They will decide to either choose for themselves or choose for other members on your team. You can also do this, as I said, counter picking, and they'll pick a champion early so they can give it to one of their teammates below them later. After all the champions have been picked, you can switch it up, and it looks like Odd One will be jungling with Lee Sin, and your support special will be Janna.
Yep, so they've picked that one up so far, and this is actually something that some of our designers at Riot were predicting, was a lot of the first picks might be ambiguous jungle/top picks, where it gives you a lot of room to stretch your own lineup. You're not even locked into that, as your specific role, and you just leave a big question mark for the enemy team. And SoloMid has the right to get the very last pick here. They do know, and again, still Lee Sin is a pick where it can go top or jungle as well. So neither team really playing their cards so much. We're seeing Corki now for the third time in 4 games for EHOME. So they really do like this ranged carry choice here. And we're going to see if that pans out for them. They picked Sona as their support. So, oh my gosh, yeah, Cassiopeia was still available. This is one of the I think, few times that SoloMid have been allowed to play Cassiopeia, but they grab her almost every time when they can.
Reginald, a very strong Cassiopeia player, especially now they have the energy jungler, going to be able to feed a hyper cast blue, and Reginald enjoys that lane immensely. We'll have to see what EHOME is going to counter mid against. And right now they do not have that pick, and it looks like it's going to be Ahri. However, we have heard nuances of AD Ahri around, but the Corki on the pick, so that will not be the case. And PD looking to grab an AP here. Yeah, maybe for top.
Yeah, absolutely. You never know what they might run. I've even seen like Corki top as a thing, so you never know. Shogun, I think this is one of the first times we've seen him in this tournament. But a great top laner. And the thing is, he's going to get counterpicked, right? They have that top pick as the last one available for SoloMid. So, they're picking just one of the safest top lanes. Now, Kennen is still here, though. I'm surprised they actually didn't grab that earlier, but Kennen is an available choice here. Maybe not the hardest counter to Cho'Gath, but certainly a very strong champion. But the one thing I really like about SoloMid is they're picking they're almost safest champions. They're picking a lineup that you should be like, oh, what champions does KX like playing? Misfortune. What does Reginald like playing? Cassiopeia. What does the other one like playing? Lee Sin. And so they've been playing, nice. And they're going to give the Rain Man Tryndamere. And I like that a lot, because Trynd's going to get scary, and Cho cannot bully Trynd out of lane.
No.
This is a really, really, really good
Cho
choice.
to build a lot of defense.
Yeah, and you can jump on him and do a lot of damage there. You can spinning slash to dodge rupture, etc. I really like this choice from TSM. From champion select right now, I'm handing it to TSM. I really like this lineup here from TSM.
I can see where EHOME is going with this. It seems like there's a lot of focus coming off Crescendo for their fights to happen. Crescendo into Cho'Gath Scream, silencing everybody on the team is going to be a really good initiation for them. But the movement, the speed, Lee Sin shield, double shield from both Janna and Lee Sin, Rain Man on Tryndamere, that is a scary team in a team fight.
Yeah, and the Rain Man actually is going Exhaust Ignite for his summoner spell, so he's all about dealing tons of damage to everything.
Tons of damage,
I had to put it out there. It was just calling for me that time.
And it's actually going to be really good to watch him, because usually with that setup, he will be safe. He will be mocking shout, get as many attacks in as he can. If he feels safe, he'll do the spinning slash, but that's going to be his escape from now on, since he really doesn't have one. So if you want to really watch the positioning of how to play those summoner spells on Tryndamere, it'll be a good one to watch the Rain Man on this one.
Yeah, and the cool thing with Exhaust as well is you can always use it as a defense tool as well if you get jumped on. And the thing is, the jungler is Shyvana, and Shyvana doesn't have any really good CC. Now, she brought Exhaust as well, so you can kind of have Shyvana Exhaust leading into Cho'Gath Rupture, and you're not going to be able to dodge that without spinning slash in those cases, but you can exhaust Shyvana, exhaust the Cho'Gath, run away from that point, and you'll be in a little bit better shape there. So I think that he's going to have a decent time running away. But guys, enough of the theory crafting. Of course, we're going to be going into the game very, very soon. Let's have a little opening ceremony. Let's have you guys applaud for these teams, EHOME and SoloMid, and we'll be right back. Let's hear some applause, guys. All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. We're here following Max and TS as they're coming out of their base. This Corki and Ari, and they're actually just barreling over towards the enemy red. SoloMid actually rushing for the enemy red themselves. So double invasion kind of happening here, and neither team can see what's going on there. Neither team actually knows what's going on. Going to scout the brush with the Cassiopeia Q right there. If you can see an early ward dropped out by Jana. That's special for Team SoloMid. So going to see a little bit of that towards Wraiths. And they're camping by Dragon. Now, Dragon spawns at, I think it's 230s. They're not going to really camp for it right away. But they've already invaded. EHOME has already invaded all the way up to the double golems. And this could be pretty good for them. I mean, they could get quite a lot of little power there. Both the teams actually making the same choices. So at least, you know, great minds think alike. But not going to have too much happen just yet.
Wow. Yeah, totally mirroring each other here. Looks like there's going to be a steal. No, TSM moving in a little bit more. And wow. They're
really mirroring each other.
They are doing the exact same thing on opposite sides of the map.
And then see, they're going to move on, and they're now both sides are by Wraiths. And let's see what they can do. Odd One is going to be the one. Looks like he's going to be tanking up the Wraiths. Of course, EHOME can do the same thing here. They're leaving. They've been clairvoyants. They're actually going to give up Wraiths there. That's really cute, actually, because they already had them warded, and they clairvoyance to scare them. Especially actually drop the clairvoyance to say, hey, we want you to know that we know you're there, so you leave us alone. And that was actually an incredibly clever move there. I like that a lot. But Air, in a little bit of a scary spot, he's going to ward the brush, but the thing is, they know he's there, and Rainman, I guess he's got no support there. He could have maybe gone for some damage, but he's going to hold on to that one.
Yeah, it doesn't look like too much going on there, as she is coming back around maybe to get some damage. Nope. Looks like they're just going to pass off on that one. Mid begins itself up, and looks like Trinamir making his way towards top. Rainman there a little late, may hurt him, but he should be able to get himself back into lane with that sustain.
Yeah, he should be all right. He's going to miss, looks like 2 melee minions, and otherwise going to be all right. Lee Sin did already steal EHOME's red. Sona not even into the lane at bot yet, so that could always translate to some pain for Corki without your support there. He actually has chucked 1 healing potion so far. And actually had to learn Valkyrie first as well, so he's actually not been in great shape. Especially really playing aggressive here, using that shield to go in and poke for some damage.
Yeah, holding off on that skill. You said he got Valkyrie. Sona was not down there yet to help him, and he wanted to be able to dodge that damage.
Shyvana fighting Lee Sin up actually in the jungle. Looks like Shyvana going to be the one to be scared here. Ari coming up though, so actually EHOME looking pretty happy here. Reginald actually already recalled once, picked up 2 wards. There's the clairvoyance. They do see Shyvana, Lee Sin waiting in the brush still. Reginald coming over. He's been revealed by the ward as well, so everyone kind of knows what's going on, but they've found Imba. Oh, Charm was so close there.
Going back in, he does have a little bit of poison on. He's going to be able to go for those Twin Fangs. Good damage onto Max. That's definitely not going to be a kill, but he will be able to control his lane a little bit better. No, popping the potion. That will bring Max back to full health. 200 over 20 seconds. A good push bottom lane so far. They do have him against their turret, but they're both trading damage and popping pots back and forth. The big minion wave here for TSM, and they are going to push this right into the turret.
And this is going to look pretty good for TSM. They're going to actually push them, like you said, into the turret. They're going to hope to deny these minion kills. See if they can do much about this.
Looks like PD could be focused top here. The Odd One getting ready for a gank. He does have that red buff. He's going to be able to slow him. PD can make it out of this quite easily with a Rupture if he hits it right. And it looks like they won't go for the focus. He's just backing right there, and they said, you know, we're just going to waste our cooldowns. I could go into the jungle and get a little bit more experience, and that would work. Reginald looking to see if the Wraiths will be ready yet, and no, Shyvana going to the left, not the Wraith. So a good ward there. They will be able to focus that down next time Wraiths come.
I think we're going to see just Cassiopeia going to be farming up, getting themselves some gold. They've actually warded that Wraith camp, so he can always see when they respawn. He can go for the gold there. See Max coming by. He's been spotted. Actually, pink wards it to get rid of that ward. Just that's definitely being pretty studious, knowing what these teams like to do, where their wards go down. It was actually pinged a little while ago. Kek's taking a lot of damage actually from Corki now, and the lack of sustain in that lane is starting to hurt him a little bit. He's got the Jana, but he's out of health potions now, and TS and Air look like they're going to be pretty happy to keep pushing in on this.
Wow, TS getting as many shots down onto KX as he can. The shield just not helping too much. He is stopping a little bit of damage, as we see on the minimap here. Blue is being grabbed by Cassiopeia. Jumping back down bottom. The aggression on the Valkyrie into the left, though. Very nice Valkyrie by TS, dodging the range of the turret, but getting in range for another shot to keep poking at Jenna.
Yep, 956 going to be the respawn there on the Golem buff, so we can maybe see if that's going to get timed out. And pressure right away onto his special, getting very, very low. Lee Sin's shield might be able to block the damage. No, first blood picked up thanks to Ignite from Corki. No, Sona's been traded back, and Lee Sin going to for sure make them get that kill back. So Lee Sin and Misfortune teaming up to grab a kill. First blood to Corki's not bad, but ultimately the gold quite the advantage for SoloMid now.
Very nice job there as we look up top. Petey doing a very good job of pushing back the Rain Man here. I don't think Rain Man is focusing on too much damage, though. He's just looking for the farm and kind of letting him take it. Lee Sin still hurt bottom, finally backing there. The odd one was very low after that situation, but they had a good pull off of that one. 2-1 here, 6 minutes into the game. Dragon is up. No wards on it yet, so we're not going to see too much focus. A little bit of Imba heading in towards Reginald here, and you'll see this quite often now where mid lane continues to take Wraiths, helps them out with a little bit of gold and their CS score.
Yeah, Reginald going to get lots and lots of gold because of this. You can see the Tripmere winning in minions at top lane as well, so SoloMid is happily, you know, trolling along with about 1,000 gold advantage so far, despite only the 1 kill. Kills are not worth 1,000 gold by themselves, so they're really just out in the
exhaust down now. Onto PD top lane. He is forced to flash. Mocking shout. I do not believe has come out yet. No, he may have turned into it, and he will be able to get out of that one. He did expend flash, though. That's going to be about 3 minutes down, where Odd One can come back to that lane. I believe they still have another exhaust, and they're going to be able to take him down if they want to. Wait, he did not go back, and we can see the Odd One already coming back in for this gank. No, it looks like PD playing a little bit safer. He does have a ward down there now, and it looks like Odd One returns to his jungle. Good pressure here in mid by Cass.
Yeah, Cho does have a ward down in the river. Now, Odd One had actually used his exhaust earlier in the gank at bottom, so that won't quite be up for a gank at top right away, but you never know how that's going to manifest later on. He's still camping around at the top lane, actually. You can see on the mini-map down there. But he does want to be near this Cho'Gath, but he's going to give it up for now. We'll see how that manifests later. The enemy red, or the EHOME red should be respawning very soon, and SoloMid grabbed that before. And so, you know, that counter jungle worked at level 1. We're going to see if he goes for it again. It's now respawned. And we'll see if they do anything with that.
It looks like our CS are on the map. We are 7 minutes into the game. You can about have 108 to 115 CS towards 10 minutes of the game, but a little bit of action down low. Looks like Air taking a lot of damage on Sony here. Slowed the shield onto KX, allowing him to do more damage, and that healing reduction coming down a little too slow. They weren't able to fully take him out. No flashes or summoners used on that one, I do not believe. Oh no, it looks like Sona did have to use exhaust to get out of that one.
Yeah, that is like the summoner spell choice, but otherwise, yeah, they're you know, more or less surviving this lane. Look at the minion farm, and it's 49 for Misfortune, 36 for Corki, though. So the gold advantage, and of course, plus that kill a little while ago, pretty good for SoloMid. They're winning in pretty much all of their lanes. You can kind of look at the comparisons. 57 on Tryndamere versus 32 on Cho'Gath, pretty harsh. 63 on Cassiopeia versus 42 on Ahri. I mean, they're really winning each one of their lanes individually. SoloMid looking very strong right now.
Rain Man still just tussling it out with PD top. They're really not giving each other too much trouble, and we do see movement from PD here. He is going down, maybe just a ward, yeah. Just a ward. I thought he may be going down across the jungle. We have a little bit of an invasion here. Imba sees the Odd One in his jungle. Looks like he leaves the small lizards and steals red. So there's our real first denial of resource in the jungle there. Great job by Odd One, knowing the times, getting the wards down. Looks like everybody now returning to lane. A little bit of help from KX and X Special on that, making sure he gets out safe. Shyvana returning to the top jungle. And PD and Rain Man still just duking it out top. A very slow game so far. 8 minutes and 50 seconds in.
Yeah, Rain Man is getting pushed to his turret repeatedly, and PD's not really getting punished for it. You know, we did see Lee Sin show up once. They did burn his flash, but now that his flash is honestly, you know, only a minute and a half left on the cooldown, maybe he's going to show back up. I mean, it's in enough time, certainly, if he does, you know, gank for the next wave.
Oh, Air going down bottom. The MF ulti coming out. They do have the exhaust onto TS. Wow, very nice job there to get that down and just throw out the MF ulti.
And nice
another
job
kill
there.
coming up for KX. Not somebody you want to get fed early. The AD carry, especially MF, very powerful. That movement speed, along with Janna, synergizes very well. TS is kind of forced to his turret without much mana, but we're going to have a little bit of help from Imba here. We do also see the Odd One top kind of posing for a gank, but nothing going to happen there. And it looks like Imba just kind of roaming back and forth. They're kind of saying, yes, this would be good to come in, but it's not going to be too good because we won't be able to get the kill on this. But Ahri will also focus freak. It looks like we're going to have a 3-4v2 bot.
Yeah, she's actually going to move on in. Shyvana's already there. They've used pink wards. Shyvana's been spotted now. You're going to see TSM start to run away. Now, can they interrupt this? There's the dragon just coming off right there onto KX. Exhaust does go on, and they're all just going for this damage upper right now. And KX not in happy place. Max going in for the pain. Oh, the summoner heal used, but not going to be enough. The big one does come out. Janna trying to recall in the brush.
Oh, she makes it.
And she's going to make it out, but they're going to go for the turret pressure. I like this a lot. They're going to go ahead and actually, yeah, they got 4 of them strong just going for this turret. They'll pick that one up, and they might get their turret, or after the turret, they might go for the dragon right afterwards.
Yeah, it would be a very smart move. That 150 gold globally plus the 190 from Dragon definitely will give them a nice upper hand in this match. We can see Odd1 grabbing out his blue right now. Has a little bit of red left on him. They will not challenge this. They're going to go ahead and give that to Reginald so he can be hyper-aggressive in middle, the style he likes the best. And we are going to see back to top lane, just hanging out, farming away still. These guys really are not putting too much pressure on each other. We did see the gank from the Odd One, but after that, they're kind of like, you know, he's got a lot of ways to get out of this. He can silence us. He can just rupture us. His flash is probably back up. And Cho'Gath is just somebody that's really hard to kill and innately tanky, so not going to be able to do much there. You can see the focus has been more towards bottom lane and middle lane with Reginald at this point.
Yeah, but he's been farming really, really hard. 103 minions, first player in the game to break 100, and he's up by 20 on everyone else. 3 Dorans and just relying on blue buff for the rest of it. Here comes Ari, immediately bursting on Odd1 coming by. There's the W, and then the burst coming onto his face. Exhaust even used just to make sure it happened. Reginald picking up another kill there. 4-2, the advantage for Team SoloMid. We're going to see if they pressure for Dragon for this, or if they go for a turret or what, but maybe they just say, okay, we'll take the turret, and that's it. Just going to recall actually and buy items. We're going to look at the gold. Where's should have nice money? 1,500, yeah, almost enough for a needlessly large rod. Instead just says, yeah, I'm going to grab Spell Vamp, that's it.
Let's see, bot lane's returning. Tryndamere heading down. It looks, I don't know, maybe they will be going for the Dragon soon here. There's a lot of wards on Dragon right now. We got some visions, we got some sight wards, there's another one inside. However, I think the cut they put that in right here on the Dragon can't be seen by this vision ward, so I don't think they're going to be able to take that out. Very nice placement there.
Yeah, and we'll see if the special runs forward. Looks like, nope, doesn't know the ward's there, so they're going for the pressure on this Dragon right now and just tanking it. The team is moving over, but so is Shyvana, so this could get pretty scary for SoloMid if they don't kill it in time. Official did take quite a bit of damage there, but he should be safe otherwise. The Odd One taking that slow. Air coming in from the side, wants to slow Chaos, will do that. Will they pick anything up? No, it's going to get grabbed for the Odd One. They're going to run out as fast as possible. Air lands crescendo. Chaos getting caught right there. John Ult goes off. Looks like he'll be safe, but is Corki pretty scary right now? And actually, there's Cassiopeia. I think she just burned Flash.
Oh, yeah, man.
Was very afraid. Did flash away, I believe, from Max. But the Rain Man actually still shoving top. So SoloMid basically let their solo top keep farming. They grab Dragon. And yeah, they burned some summoners, but ultimately they just grabbed a big advantage for themselves. Now they're up 3,000 gold.
Yeah, doing a really great job. Looks like Tryndamere kind of having his way with top here, doing what he can. And Rain Man may be able to get some good damage on this turret. Nope, Cho'Gath right on the other side. PD's going to say, step back off my turret, please. Thank you very much. They're going to go ahead and grab that blue buff, transferring it and donating it over to Max. That's going to help my... Oh, it's resetting.
There you go, he got it
able
back.
to catch it. Nice job there. Bot lane is returning. Let's check out the items for MF. She is sporting... She actually went for that pickaxe first, so we may see the Infinity Edge coming out of her.
Yeah, that could be the possibility here. Following KX down. Yeah, that seems like the most likely choice. Rushing for that IE. Look at Odd One's build. He's got the wriggle so far. Actually, there's a jump onto PDD. And Cho's not going to be happy with this. Taking a lot of damage. There's the flash. Dodges the Lee Sin Q because of that. And Trin can die with his ult. Nope, they will choose to let that one go. Just deny the farm and go back to farming themselves.
That was a lot of damage. You thought they would have had it. There's Reginald taking down that turret in mid, and he's going to start heading straight up, actually, just to back. He is going to be able to use that money he just got. Let's see what items he purchases.
Could be Spell Vamp Book, or he might just camp on that.
Cho'Gath just building that Glacial Shroud.
I'm just going to make him do a lot better against this Tryndamere now that he's got 162 armor. He's got some decent cooldown reduction now, so he's going to be much less afraid of the Rain Man. Now that said, that turret did just fall though, so SoloMid now winning 2-1 in turrets, 4-2 in kills, and about 5,000 gold overall. That's an advantage that starts to matter at this point in the game. 5,000 gold by 15 minutes is pretty good.
We'll have to see what they do. Shyvana moving back into the jungle right now, and all of actually TSM is in their base besides Reginald. They've all just kind of reset their purchases. Tryndamere going for a little bit of a Vampiric Scepter first, but straight into a Phantom Dancer. He's going to be able to get those crits down and heal himself, sustaining a lot in lane, and every time that crit procs as well. That's a good tons of damage, Freak, right?
It's a lot of pain right there, for sure, for sure. And that's going to be a bit
three
scary.
gathering middle here.
Yep, and looks like EHOME might try to push this. Now Reginald doing a good job of stopping the minion waves. Q and W there looks like pretty much safe with all that. Twin Fang for the kill. And yeah, he's keeping these minion waves from getting up to his turret. You can see the mid turret actually has never even taken damage so far for SoloMid. So that's just Reginald controlling his lane very, very well, despite, you know, running back and forth to clear rates a few times.
Yeah, always knowing when to back against your turret is good. If you got a minion wave coming at your turret, you want to stay there and farm it. When you want to go back is when you push your wave all the way to the other side. So the least amount of minions are going to die by the time you get back and you can gather up that XP. And Reginald's been doing very well at that, as you said, just going and taking wraiths when he can't get the other opposing CS. Looks like there's a jump on Cho'Gath top. They are going to have a Lee Sin and Rain Man against him. PD taking a lot of damage. I don't believe his flash is back up yet. He has used Rupture and kind of dodged out one attack. He did use it again as it came up. Will he get the Sonic? And he does get it down. The E from Lee Sin able to take down PD there. Shyvana was coming over, but it was just a little too late. There's a lot of damage output from a Lee Sin and a Tryndamere. Playing that very well. 5-2 now, 16 minutes into the game, but it looks like the exhaust goes down into the odd one. As soon as he puts his shield up, he is going to be able to safeguard himself, but he is taking a lot of damage from that Foxfire. His Ignite is on. The Spell Vamp will not help. He wasn't even able to get any attacks off, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and trade that one. EHOME kind of pulling back a little bit of money there in their favor. They got a few more assists than TSM got on their kill on PD, and it looks like they're going to clear up some of this Jungle Freak. A good trade there on a 1-on-1.
Yeah, ultimately, losing a jungler for a solo top is generally advantage for the team that killed the solo top. So SoloMid pretty happy with that kill, of course, and they're going to keep that going. Of course, also ending some of those Cho'Gath feast stacks. Kind of nice. Cho down to, I believe, to 3. So they did cut his health down a little bit there. You see, Imba has an Oracles, which is actually really good news for EHOME. I don't believe Ava had an Oracles, but if he did, it's gone now. KX getting a turret kill at bottom that brings that now to 3-1. So Team SoloMid, by 17 minutes into the game, has killed all 3 outer turrets. They're definitely known for doing a really good job of that in general. They're really good at picking out those turrets early on and building that advantage for themselves, and then just starting to pinch in on the map and controlling, using oracles and just ward sweeping everything.
Rain Man just harassing top, getting as many attacks in as he can between his minion hits, and that Vampiric Scepter just healing very nicely off the crits. Really didn't go for too much early damage, probably running a little bit of AD on his runes. And doing a great job solo top right now. MF pushing middle, trying to farm it up, and you can see the ping on her from EHOME. They're like, guys, that can't happen. We cannot let MF free farm, and that is your job as an AD carry. If you are not shooting minions, you are not doing your job. And then the team fight. Too. Champions, yes.
But yeah, the Oracles actually was now just picked up on Janna, so especially going to be the Oracle sweeper for SoloMid, and that's about the right time to kill all the outer turrets. Better buy an Oracles and sweep all of the wards, and that's going to be the strategy here, is start just controlling the map. And their team is also very, very good at controlling Dragon and Baron. We're going to see how they can do that as well. 5-3, only up 2 kills. 6,000 gold, though, still the lead. They've been controlling just minions and monsters that well. We'll see how that manifests over the course of this game.
Oh, Reginald getting pretty scary. Blue buff now. He does have that Giant's Belt as he goes for the Rylas, and that makes a Cassiopeia very scary as she slows and has that 0.5 Twin Fang damage. It looks like they are going to have an uncontested Dragon there. We're going to see that coming back up at 2450. We'll have to see the motion on the map. At that point, Miasma going down onto Max. I don't think he will have enough to chase Ari with that awesome escape, and she doesn't even have to use it. A very nice job there. Reginald just getting the poke down. Everybody milling about their jungles right now, just trying to soak up the XP until the next team fight. I think the next fight we will see will maybe be a forced Baron fight, but everybody's a little too low right now, and there may not be enough damage on the map.
And there's actually, as you bring that up, there's no clairvoyance on EHOME. So if SoloMid now with their Oracles on Xpecial, if they do a good enough job of sweeping these wards out, and you can see him back in the base trying to pick up some more, I would presume, wards as he's waiting for gold. You know, if they can sweep enough of those wards out, you know, EHOME has no way of knowing if they're there or not, and they've got to either face check some brush or save some flashes to get out if they get caught. But they will have no way of knowing if Baron's being killed or not.
Looks like there is a little bit of a pressure here. They have taken the ward out, so yeah, maybe. Oh, there it is. Imba has an Oracles. Very nice. So they're going to be able to start clearing as well. Looks like Cho'Gath going back PD against the Rain Man top. Kind of clearing out. You can see that trade-off is not really in PD's favor. Good dodge by Rain Man. Rain Man has a good amount of stacks on that Bloodlust, and he's just going to be able to heal himself back up. PD kind of forced off the minions, so Rain Man doing a very good job of just keeping the CS in his favor in that top lane. 184 to 133, and that's really going to help him out late game, especially with Tryndamere's ultimate being able to stay in the fight so long.
Yeah, you can see PD only at 5,000 gold, the Rainman at 6,700.
Wow, straight into a Last Whisper as well.
Oh, wow. He's just relying on just the critical chance there, the attack speed from Phantom Dancer, and then saying, yeah, I know I'm fighting a guy with a Frozen Heart. Yeah, you've got a Ninja Tabby and a couple of guys. Yeah, there's the Frozen Heart actually right there. He really wants to cut through those armor. He knows he's going to fight tanky guys pretty often. And they're going to rely on Misfortune or on Lee Sin to kind of chew through maybe Corky or someone else there. So it looks like he's not going to rely right away on diving squishies.
We've got a ward down there. They are going to see that, but I don't think Xpecial is going to make his way over there just yet. It's very dangerous if he walks into that bush just to clear a ward. Where will they be going here? It looks like they're going towards the top jungle, maybe just clearing wards. They do get the CV out right there, and he will feel it's comfortable now and safe to get in there and clear the ward. There it is. They just wanted that really bad.
You can see SoloMid doing a good job still of controlling the map. You can see map vision still available a little bit for EHOME. You can see they've got pretty much 2 wards of the map, one up here near Baron and one in the tri-brush near the bottom lane. They don't have much other map visions. That's a little bit scary for them. I mean, it's thankful for them they can actually see, well, they can no longer see SoloMid on the map, but they did see them in mid pretty not too long ago. They're able to push mid, and generally speaking, if a team is charging down mid lane, you can't quite do Baron to counteract that. So
here, what I was saying, there may be a fight. They're kind of towards Baron, but this wouldn't be a forced Baron fight. There it is, Sonic going in, and he will try to get, Lee Sin tries to get in there. The odd one back out of the fight, though, as he safeguards. Shyvana coming in, and they drop Reginald right off the bat. That blue buff is down onto Imba, and it looks like they may have control of this fight. Trying to escape, Ari gets away, but MF with a nice shot. KX picking up that kill. Will they be able to take down Imba? The exhaust goes down, and they will be able to drop him. He's going to be worth a little bit more as he did take down Reginald. The blue buff again transferred back to TSM, now on to KX, picking himself up a kill that time, and a 4-1 in favor of TSM. Yes, it's time to Baron.
You have an absolutely great case there. Reginald did take a bunch of damage to his face. He did drop down, but he was built fairly tanky. 3 Torrens rings and that Giant's belt there. It's honestly, that's a fair amount of damage at that point. You have to deal to chop through that.
Yeah.
They did get the Baron buff. Now, they could have actually waited 3 seconds to give Reginald the Baron buff there. He actually respawned just now, does not have it. Yeah, I mean, you don't really need to, but they weren't exactly in danger of losing the buff to a smite steal.
Indeed, and yeah, that focus, it's actually scary because it is the person you want to focus. You want to get Reginald out, but that leaves an odd one on Lee Sin, and you have KX and MF, and 2 people you need to focus as well. So even though you take out Reginald with blue buff and Cassiopeia, which is very scary, you still have a Lee Sin and an MF to deal with who can also half your healing rate. So that's really scary if she just throws down her W.
Yep, and you know, ultimately, these guys are going extremely positive too. I mean, when you don't interrupt a Misfortune ult at all, and that kind of happens when you get the Cassiopeia stun on Shogath, that's most of your team's disruption. And Misfortune got a full channel ult. Lee Sin kind of just ran around everywhere. Both of them now 4 kills, and they're pretty much controlling this team right now, and they're kind of making Team SoloMid win. And Team SoloMid very much are winning. They're 10,000 gold up, and they're really not showing any signs of slowing down.
No, they are not. And we're going to have to see what they can do here. Just quickly pushing down these waves. Looks like we got a Warmogs on Lee Sin now. He's going to be nice and tanky. Going to be able to farm up those minions and also build a little bit of HP on that item. We're probably going... he's got a little Magical Zik next. Maybe Banshee's Veil or something else to help out his team. Looks like they may be able to take out this turret. A good minion wave. Corky just coming out to fire some missiles. They're not doing too much damage. And a very tanky TSM able to take that turret and continue to force EHOME into their base here. Still EHOME doing good damage in these team fights. So we'll have to see. They just don't want to fight against this Baron right now.
Yeah, but they're going to get all these outer turrets as a result. You can see the teams charging through as a very large group, all 5 now in range, and EHOME giving it up. You can see them sitting all the way down here, protecting their inhibitor turret, which they do need to defend. But SoloMid says, that's fine, we'll steal your blue. And they'll probably run towards bot lane. Or they'll push top again. I mean, one of the two. Or mid, or, I'm just wrong entirely, but still, they're looking for some kind of advantage. They want an easy way in. They don't necessarily want to force it on the turret unless they get a good initiate, and, well, they're getting some really good poke on a Cho. Got him down to half health already. KX pushing down this turret. The minions will fall soon, though. They should back off.
You know, PD doing what he can to stay near that wall, that frozen heart activating on his opponents, but he's still taking damage. They have a ward down right next to him, so he's got to be careful of his positioning, even though he is supposed to be the first one in the fight to get the assistance from that frozen heart, as well as his tankiness. Looks like they're just continue to knock on the door of EHOME's base right now. Again, PD right up to the edge, just trying to get that to activate on from the aura. It looks like they're going to want this turret. They have a lot of damage. Chaos focusing all of that damage onto the turret, and they will be able to drop this first inhibitor one. And possibly not. Good hold there by EHOME. The next minion wave coming out. Still can't make a push. This Baron buff is just making TSM a very scary team right now.
Yeah, they got a minute left on it. They have another 2 minion waves to go. And you can see this turret down to about 1/5 health. Only 483 left. It shouldn't take them much more effort to just hit through. About 5 more attacks from Misfortune. Double shield on her, and they're like, yeah, this is the turret kill. And they're going to dive in here. They've got, again, this 45 seconds left on Baron, and they might just go all the way in. The inhib looks like it's going to be theirs. EHOME not looking too happy about stopping them. They landed a great charm on the odd one, but still going to be tanking that damage. The Janna shield is nice and strong there. They got the inhib pretty much for free at that point.
Moving back. Finding air right out in the open. He is going to crescendo, but it did miss Rain Man. He was able to just spinning slash right in and take her out quickly. The support is down also with an Oracle, so that's going to hurt a little bit as well. Oracle's costing 400 and wearing off as soon as you die. Let's see, they're trying, nope, CV down. They're trying to get some wards out. We can see that they placed one in that early bush. They're still trying to get vision on their jungle. They need the resources that's out there. But right now, they're just going to be forced to farm what's coming into their base.
Yeah, TSM looks happy about this, though. They're going to keep on pushing through. You can see their pressure now up at the mid turret. The minions are gone, though. They've got to be a little bit careful here. But a 5v4, and especially no Sona ultimate, even if she does revive. She's back now, but the Sona ult is still down. This is going to be very difficult for EHOME to win a team fight here, even now that Baron's gone, and even though they have a turret here as well.
A minion wave coming in here for TSM. PD trying to stay in front as usual. A little bit of heal from Sona there, looking to get that armor. Goes for the rupture, misses that, and they're going to activate right off of missing that. Very odd. Max gets a little ahead of himself there, a little antsy. PD comes to try in and save. Oh, wow, they're just getting taken down here. 2 go down, a third one. No, Rain Man's going to try to stay alive here. Going against PD, he does have a good amount of damage coming on. He uses Bloodlust to stay alive. Rain Man able to get out of that one alive as Reginald and the odd one come around the backside to help clean up. Xpecial's like, hey, I've already been in the base. Where were you guys?
Yeah, seriously. So they managed to split that fight into 2. I ended up watching the fight over with Cho'Gath. They did finally get that dive and the kill there onto Misfortune, but pretty much at the cost of 2 champions for themselves. And actually the exhaust used on Cho'Gath at the last second made Feral Scream not quite deal enough damage to kill off the Rain Man after his ult ended. So that summoner spell just barely making him live. And they turned that into basically a 3-for-1 and another inhib death. There's the ping from Team SoloMid up onto this outer bottom turret. Dying to some minions right now. Only about 350 health left in that one. And there comes Xpecial in the odd one. They'll pick that one up and probably keep going. Actually, no, they should stop at this point because Trind and Misfortune are far away. Cassiopeia the same way, and they're just going to wait, regroup, and then either go for Baron again or just end it at bot lane.
Yeah, we're going to have to see. EHOME cannot chance any more of those fights. It was, you know, to think about it, it was a great idea by Max. Ari has a lot of movement, and they pushed MF out of the fight with that rupture. So really, he did expend that cooldown that could have popped up the whole team, but he split them. Max saw that chance, got a little antsy, though. With the movement that TSM has, they were really able to catch him and take him out quickly. And then you had PD trying to save as well, flashing over the wall instead of using that for an escape later to stop the inhibitor take as they were able to win the fight. So EHOME kind of making a few mistakes in that last one. Definitely going to play a little bit more cautious as the super minions continue to batter and knock on their door. We can see Corki farming bottom, and a focus from TSM sends 4 that way. If they can get Mocking Shout here, they may be able to catch him. But Rain Man spinning slash a little too late, and they're going to use this minion wave to go right for the tower.
And no one's really there to stop them yet, so they're going to get some free damage here. You're going to look at the damage output. Pretty massive here. Trind, MF, Cassiopeia hitting pretty hard, but there comes the champions. They will back off with the turret down to about 1/4 health. They should wait for the next minion wave. Shyvana actually left alone farming top. Is going to have to recall. He's going to be back in the base there. SoloMid getting ready to push this in. One thing I want to point out is watch how the odd one manipulates the next minion wave. He's going to probably use Safeguard. Oh my gosh, Chaos taking some damage. I'm going to use it to defend Chaos.
Wow.
And oh my gosh, the damage. The Shyvana ult going in, and that is a kill right away. Reginald not in good shape either. Max will fall 2 for 0 actually so far. Max actually alive right now. and they're going to chase in. There's the Randuin's used as well, Special not in a good place. They're going to keep chasing him down. Can they land the Rupture? No, they guessed wrong on the Rupture. Special still taking damage from this Missile Barrage, but Tryndamere, by the way, pushing in from the top, going for a turret right now with a Super Minion nearby. Charm not going to quite land there, and they're going to push them all back, but actually, that was phenomenal. They landed the perfect CC chain and MF, and if they can do this correctly, they can turn this around into a Baron.
Yeah, it was a very good job. You know, as I said before, EHOME still doing damage. As long as they can get those first few picks on the fight, it's definitely in their favor. They just pushed out TSM from that fight. TSM now 50,000, almost 51,000 gold accrued by their entire team to EHOME's 36,000. So you can see the items, the objectives taken are all right now in favor of TSM, but EHOME can still stick in these fights, and that's what we just saw. However, TSM, a very good team at pushing right now. EHOME can't turtle as well, so they're going to have to win this next fight. The Baron is going to be very tough, and TSM may solidify this one in just a few minutes.
Yep, there we go. The 38-minute respawn going to be for the Baron, and they are looking really good this time. They're actually all alive this time to receive the Baron buff. Should help a little bit, but they're just going to be all kinds of happy to take this one out. Oh, Max almost stole that. That was a nice try there. He's actually waiting in the brush. But he actually was revealed by the ward. You saw Lee Sin actually stop attacking, let the Orbitus actually come out, and they came back and grabbed it.
Yeah, you can see all the vision right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 wards in EHOME's jungle from TSM right now. They want all vision, they want all buffs. However, EHOME, though, is making their way out. This is something you don't see a team that's trying, or turtling do, especially against Baron, is they're still trying to get out, and they're still trying to ward. Look what Sona has done. Air has just gone around and actually placed about 5 wards around that bottom half of the map, and now they can have full vision of where they're going and possibly pick off another one of these fights that won them the last one.
Even the Oracles is only going to be onto Janna. They've not picked it up on the odd one, for example. So unless Janna goes and starts clearing the jungle,
yeah,
they actually might be able to secure their own red. But they're going to push in towards mid lane. That the top inhibitor has respawned there. So they're going to go for that right away. Now Baron buff is scary. They might not try to stop them here. Looks like they will let that one go. Corky's going to spam a couple of missiles here, but otherwise they're going to be okay with that. Reginald doing a good job of harassing Imba there. They still have a turret to defend. It's only a couple hundred health. They might go for it right now. Chaos going to go in for some damage up, but he's got to be afraid of Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath's going to land onto the odd one, but he is super tanky. The turret does go down.
Special going out with the ulti. Crescendo comes down as they get pushed off to the ult. Shyvana goes into ulti form, but taking too much damage. Chaos just able to output so much DPS right now. Max taking down Reginald. They do want to focus him, and it's a big fight for TSM right now, taking down 3. It does not look like EHOME is going to be able to come back from this one, as TSM now controls their base, taking down their last inhibitor all the way through. The first Nexus tower to fall here. The GGs are coming out as this minion wave comes to assist them on this turret take. And, you know, in the initial fight, it was good. We did see Cho'Gath trying to go for Chaos, get him silenced out of the fight, but he was just able to turn around, throw down too much damage, and a very tanky TSM team was able to continue to push on through.
Yep, and they brought themselves down to 2-2, and their last match of the day is going to be against SK Gaming. Now, SK, they were 3-0, but SK's last 2 matches are against Team SoloMid, who are now 2-2, and against Moscow 5. If SK loses to Moscow 5, they go to 3-1, and if SoloMid takes on SK, they both tie at 3-2. But because SoloMid beat SK, if that's the case, then SoloMid still has a chance to go through, but they need to win this last. They need to win the last match, and I think they need SK to also lose. There's a lot of other things going on as well. How well does Curse go? They were, I believe, 1-2, but they have a number of matches to go in front of them. Maybe they could turn out a 3-2. There's a lot of different sort of things that can happen here. The groups are still wide open. I'm curious to see how SK against Moscow 5 is going. That's a very, very important match. Both those teams 3-0. Looks like EHOME, unfortunately, they're down to 0-4. They're not looking too good in this tournament, unfortunately for them. But the rest of this group, still a bunch of questions. Can go really to any of these teams.
Yeah, and a lot of the teams from A are saying they don't want to face a lot of the teams from B in the first place. So these guys coming out very strong. It's not abnormal to see that a few of the teams weren't playing as weren't playing as well, but weren't able to stand up to what they brought to the table in this tournament. Moscow 5 playing very strong. EHOME couldn't really do anything against the counter jungle, and then they were done against I believe Cypher and one other one I can't remember right now, but the games have just been so strong for teams that you can't really say anybody played bad. It's just they weren't able to figure out what they were doing. And EHOME has even said they have learned a lot at this tournament from what they've seen. And it's not we're learning our mistakes. We're just learning that everything, you know, what Moscow 5 brings to the table, what all these different teams, these combinations, these strategies, middles, metas, pretty much everything is what comes out at these tournaments.
Yep, and that was a game of SoloMid looking comfortable, looking much more like themselves.
Yeah, they settled.
I mean, of course they're going to make mistakes. Every team, I think, has this tournament. You look back even on the first day where you had, you know, CLG against Dignitas, where CLG were in the driver's seat and made some honestly very questionable Urgot ultimates. Swapping Janna into your team, not the best option, but you know, even the best of teams can make these mistakes in clutch scenarios. And this goes really for everyone. You know, every team has been having you know, a couple of issues just in their own play. In addition to, you know, loud crowds in front of you, communication, maybe difficulties because of those large crowds. They're not used to traveling abroad, or they're not used to how you know, how not playing at home kind of feels. But you know, the ones who are getting more and more practice, the ones who are sort of overcoming those challenges, are doing better right now. But we can talk about how that's going to go on with the players themselves. We do have interviews ready on the stage, so go ahead and watch those.
And we are here on the stage once again with Imba from Team EHOME and Chaos from Team SoloMid. Imba, let's start with you. Your team is now 0-4, so you're pretty certainly out of the group stage. Just talk to us about the experience of coming here to Germany and playing in this tournament. How has it been for your team?
I think our team didn't do well today, and as I know, today's EHOME is not the real one. I don't know why. We lost so much things. We did bad. But
I think we can still have a round of applause for Team EHOME, right? And like you said in the interview before the game, it's a learning experience, so I'm sure we're going to see you again at another offline event very soon. Do you have any last words to say to your fans at home?
Thank you, everyone.
That's as clean as it gets. Thank you, everyone. Chaos, this game was going much more, I think, the way that you guys wanted it to go. Do you just want to say a couple of words about this game? Like, were you happy with how it went? Were there a couple of things you thought could have gone better?
Yeah, it got really messy at the end, so just clean it at the end because every second matters, so yeah.
But otherwise, this must have been at least good for the team mood, the team spirit right now.
Yeah.
Yep, there you go. And you are going to, correct me if I'm wrong, you're going to play against Cypher and SK still, is that right? Or just SK?
Yeah, just SK.
Right, you played against Cypher, you won against them, of course. So you are playing against SK, that's going to be the last match that we're going to stream today. And I think that's another match that a lot of people here are going to look forward to. Is there just something that you'd like to say to the audience, what they can expect from that last game?
Baylife.
Baylife, you heard it. I think you have a couple of fans in the audience as well. I see somebody right up there. So thanks for that. I think there's not much else to add at this point. I think we're going to have the main stage raffle here very, very soon now. Thanks, guys, for playing. Thanks for the game. And maybe do a little shake hands for the camera as well. And yeah, I think we are going to give it into ads right now, and we are going to do the raffle here on main stage, and then we're going to be back in about half an hour or so with more matches here from the Intel Extreme Masters.